Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's B. Avery here for another episode of Just My Opinion. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. And with this episode, this is another box office breakdown where we run the numbers of the past weekend. And we are doing this on a Monday. I usually do them on Sunday when we have the estimated numbers, but today we have the actuals. Now, I haven't given you guys a box office breakdown rundown in the past few weeks. Sorry about that. 2 weeks ago, I just couldn't do it. Last week, Dallas, we lost power, so I couldn't do it then. But I'm here for you now. So I'm going to cover the new releases, but I am also going to cover the past 2 weeks as well, because we have a special edition right here called Flop City, because all these films are just flopping left and right, back and forth. I don't understand what's going on. Well, I do, and we're going to talk about it. But yeah, things are just not looking well for the box office. So let's look at the new releases for not just this past weekend, but the past few weeks. We got Men in Black, Shaft, Late Night, Dark Phoenix, Godzilla King of the Monsters, The Secret Life of the Pets 2, and The Dead Don't Die. Now, out of all of these films, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 of these are actually new releases, which is Men in Black 2 or Men in Black International, Shaft, and The Dead Don't Die. Out of this whole list that you're looking at right now, I have a review for all these films up on my channel. Please subscribe, except for The Secret Life of Pets. But looking at the Rotten Tomatoes scores and all that good stuff, you know, Men in Black got 25%. Which is not good, but a good audience score is 66%. The cinema score is a B. Shaft, 34%, not good, but everybody liked it. The audience, you know, that's 94%. It has a cinema score of A. Late Night, this is actually in the second week of release. It had a small release its first weekend with only like 4 theaters, so that's not considered wide, but it opened wide this weekend. Critics gave it an 80%. Audience members gave it a 79. They got a B+ cinema score. Dark Phoenix, 23%. That's just a shitty hot mess, but the audience liked it at 64%. Cinema score B-. I actually enjoyed Dark Phoenix. Go check out my review, but that is the lowest rated X-Men film from 20th Century Fox. Godzilla King of the Monsters, 40%. RT score, Rotten Tomatoes, 84% from the audiences, B+ cinema score. Secret Life of the Pets 2, 57% Rotten Tomatoes, 91% from the audience. That's great. The audience loved the movie. Has an A- cinema score. And The Dead Don't Die, critics gave it 54%. Audience didn't like that movie either, which audience scores are usually passing, but the critics didn't like it. The audience didn't like it at 42%, and I couldn't even find a cinema score. Now, the reason why these box office ratings are important, because it does affect the numbers. You know, you can have a 20% swing based off of the box office numbers. So let's just go ahead and say that if, give or take 10%, if a film was going to make $100 million this opening weekend, but it has raving reviews, everybody loves it, it's positive word of mouth, you know, instead of making that $100 million, it's probably going to make around $110 million. But if it was going to make $100 million and all the reviews suck, it's rotten, everybody like, this movie is horrible, it may only make $90 million instead of that 100. So it's a 20% swing, and that is why that is important to talk about when you're talking about the numbers. But let's go ahead and look at the top 5. Out of the 3 new releases, how many of these films made it into the top 5? Let's look at it right now. Unfortunately, only Men in Black International made it to the top 5. Shaft did not make it, unfortunately. The Dead Don't Die did not make it, unfortunately. We're going to talk about that in a second. But looking at number 1, we have Men in Black by Sony. This is the 4th film in this franchise. It brought in $30 million, $30,035,838. Now, it is in 4,200 theaters, 4,224 to be exact. First week of release, the production budget for this film was $110 million. And so you guys know how I do it over here. The rule of 3, a film needs to make 3 times its production budget for the studios to consider it a respectable profit. So this film needs to make $330 million worldwide, and right now worldwide it is looking at $103 million. This is not good. It brought in $30 million. The studios was expecting it to make around $50 million this opening weekend. When you look at the series of all four Men in Black films, this is the lowest opening at $30 million. You know, we got the first one, 50. You're looking at it right now, 51 million, 52 million, and 54. So each opening, it did go up or whatever. It was a small rise, but each opening, it did go up. But this is just not good right now for the Men in Black franchise. I enjoyed the film for the most part. I thought it was okay. It definitely is not better than the first one. So Sony, hopefully, you know, y'all can do a lot better with Spider-Man Far From Home coming out in the next couple of weeks. But right now, this Men in Black franchise is looking dead upon arrival. Coming in at number 2 is A Secret Life of Pets 2. Now, I haven't seen this film. It brought in $24 million its second week of release. It has a production budget. It dropped 47% from last week. And that opening of last week wasn't that good in the first place. It opened up at $46 million. Now, why is this bad? Because the first Secret Life of the Pets film, its opening was $104 million back in 2016. So this did like even less than half of that, which is not good at all for any type of franchise. I can't say if the film is good or not. Like I said, the Rotten Tomatoes score was 57%, but the audiences did like it, and 91% with the A- cinema score. So that's good there. But $80 million is the production budget for this film. So this thing needs to make $240 million worldwide. And right now it is looking at $155 million. I don't know if it's going to make it. I really don't care about this film at all. But, you know, but of course we're going to talk about it. But The Secret Life of the Pets 2. Let me get this title right. The Secret Life of Pets 2 is coming in at number 2. Now, coming in at number 3, Buena Vista. Disney is doing gangbusters right now with Aladdin. It's coming in at number 3 with $17 million. It only dropped 29%, y'all. 29.9%. If you want to be a stickler, we can just round it up to say 30%. But we're going to say 29.9, the lowest as possible. Aladdin, $17 million. That's dope as hell. It's in 3,500 theaters right now. It lost 249. Like I said, it's in its 4th week of release. The production budget for this film was $183. And this film is already well over that. 183 times 3 is $549. And where is it right now worldwide? $727 million worldwide. That is dope as hell. That is dope as hell. That is dope as hell. So Will Smith, Naomi Scott, Mena Masai, Guy Ritchie, everybody at Disney, Buena Vista, y'all can be happy. This film is doing well. Now, if you look at all the live action reimaginings or the remakes from the classic Disney cartoons, we have Aladdin right now domestically at number 4 at $264 million. We have Beauty and the Beast, which came out in 2017 at $504. I don't think it's gonna catch that, but you know, hey, we could be surprised. Dumbo is still down there at number 9 at 114, and that's just unheard of, unfortunately, for Dumbo. Worldwide, though, if we look at the Disney reimagining, Aladdin is at number 5 at $727 million. Maleficent is right there above it at 758. I'm very confident that it's going to surpass Maleficent, but we got Maleficent 2 coming out later on this year. So hey, I seriously doubt that it's going to beat The Jungle Book. This film Aladdin has opened in all of markets across the world. It just opened in Japan on June the 4th. I'm not saying that Japan is just some type of China or anything like that, where it's the second largest country, in the world as far as box office returns are concerned. But, when you have an Aladdin film with a positive word of mouth, making all this money and all that good stuff, pretty much everybody loved the film. Aladdin is doing a damn good job. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait till it comes out on Blu-ray 4K because I'm going to be buying the hell out of it. But Aladdin is doing very well in its 4th week of release. Imagine where it's going to be in its 10th week of release. Coming in at number 3 is $17 million. Now, coming in at number 4 is Rocketman. Now, this film right here, I thought the performance by Taron Egerton was fantastic, but I did not necessarily care for the film myself. But it's doing very, very well at the box office too. Right now, it is at $133 million worldwide. It is at $66 million domestically. I think I just skipped over what it made this weekend. $9 million, $9.4 million this past weekend. It's in its third week of release. It only dropped 31% at the box office. It is in 3,000 theaters right now, and the budget for this was $40 million, so it only needed to make $120 million worldwide for the studios consider it a respectable profit, and it's at 133. Now, if a lot of you know this, I've explained it before, and a lot of you already knew this just in general, but the reason why we do the rule of three is there's three costs to the film. There's a production budget, which is everything that costs to make the film, including the actor and actress's salary. There's also the marketing budget, like the trailers, the promos, the ads, the billboards, just all marketing, all advertising. And then you have the percentage of the theater, the box office return that goes to the theater/theater owners. They do get a cut of that. So on average, over the whole theatrical run, a film at the end of a box office run, at least about a third of the box office sales, at least 33%, goes to the theater/theater owners. That comes out first. Then you subtract the marketing, and then you subtract the production budget. Whatever you left over is your rough profit margin right there. And so at $40 million times that by 3, 120, the film is doing very well. So it was critically acclaimed. Audience loved it. It's making money at the box office. So that's just freaking fantastic right there. Dark Phoenix, Flop City, coming through at number 5, man. It dropped 71.5%. Bringing in $9 million, man. This is not doing well. It drops 71%. When a film does not do well opening weekend and it drops 70%, that's just a hot, shitty mess. And it is right now. The worldwide, the film is at $204 million. This is off of a $200 million production budget. And so this film needs to make at least $600 million worldwide, and it's not going to get remotely close to that. And let me see. I didn't look this up, but let me go ahead and look it up right now. I just want to see if it has opened in all of its territories across the world, because that could help. Disney is like, yeah. I mean, nobody wants to lose money on any day, of course. It's not going to kill Disney, of course, but they kind of just like, this movie sucks. It opened in Indonesia this past weekend. It opens in Japan on the 21st, so it's not going to get a big bump there. But if you look at the entire series for the X-Men, this is not good. Right now, you're looking at domestic. It's at the very bottom. Look at the opening over here on the right. $32 million opening. The Wolverine, $53 million. First Class, $55 million. But Dark Phoenix, $32 million. That's not good. It's the lowest of the lowest opening. Probably gonna be the lowest return, lowest critic score. People just like, man, F this thing. The movie looks sorry, and I enjoyed it, especially that train ending sequence. But when it was finally official that Buena Vista Disney, took over all the film and television rights to 20th Century Fox, I don't think anybody cared. Nobody cared that much anyway. But when you're coming off of X-Men Apocalypse, that trash bag of a film, people are just not going to be excited. So, yeah, Dark Phoenix, it will be at number 12 anyway because it's only in the second week of release, but it's down there. I'm looking at this thing on the right here talking about upcoming releases for Fox, The New Mutants, April of 2020. Who knows? But it's down there. That's the domestic, guys. If we look at the worldwide for the X-Men franchise, it's still down there at $204 million. Deadpool number 1 is way up there at $783 million. So Dark Phoenix is not looking great. $32 million opening, $9 million the second weekend. It's just flopping around. Flop City, man. Flop City. Now Shaft, another new release. Well, now it's not in the top 5. It's at number 6 right now at $8.9 million. The production budget for this was, I believe, $35 million. This is not, I doubt Shaft is going to get a worldwide release, so this is going to be a loss for Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is losing money. Universal is losing money. Everybody's losing money. Let's go ahead and just wrap out this top 10 real quick. Godzilla King of the Monsters is coming in at number 7. In this third weekend release of $8.7 million, it dropped 43%. Now worldwide, this thing is at $341 million. Okay, but this production budget was 170. So off the top of my head, I think that's 510. Yeah, $510 million this film has to make. It's not gonna make that. It's just not. It'll make $100 million domestically, but it's not gonna make that 510. This is horrible for the MonsterVerse that they're doing. Godzilla that came out in 2014. It had an opening of $93 million. And Kong Skull Island had an opening of $61 million. That went down, even though Kong Skull Island was a better film, in my opinion. It went down. But Godzilla King of the Monsters, it went down again, $47 million opening. And right now it's at $94 million domestically. If you look at the worldwide for all of that, I can just do this on one little thing. I don't even gotta, it's so small. At the bottom of the screen right here, Godzilla King of the Monsters 342. Kong Skull Island. Oh, Kong Skull Island made more. That's okay. I'm just not realizing that, guys. This is a surprise to me. So, I have to assume that that's positive word of mouth, because Godzilla opened at $93 million and Kong Skull Island opened at $61 million, $30 million less, but it still ended up making, well, that's worldwide. So, those openings are, United States. Because Godzilla King of the Monsters, Godzilla 2014 still made more than Kong Skull Island domestically. So I was finna get excited, but it's really no reason to get excited there. Godzilla down there is stinking up the place. It is stinking up the place with Godzilla Dookie everywhere, all over the place. It was something else I was gonna look at, but I can't find it. But Godzilla coming in at number 7, coming in at number 8 on the top 10 is John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. It only dropped 13%, first week, 13%. Fifth week of release, it brought in $6.4 million. Late night, and its wide release brought in $5.2 million at number 9. How much is this film? I don't really care. It says $6 million worldwide. Avengers Endgame is still at number 10. Yesterday when I glanced at this, it was I think it was a number 12, but Avengers Endgame is still bringing in bread. It's at $3.7 million. Of course, I'm going to do the Avengers and the Avatar comparison in just a second. But Avengers Endgame closes out the top 10, with $3.7 million, only dropping 23%. So I think that when Spider-Man Far From Home comes out on July the 2nd, that's a weird weekend because it's coming out on a Tuesday. But I think that weekend, Avengers Endgame will probably make around maybe $10 million that weekend. Mine's at number 11, but The Dead Don't Die, that is a new release. It opened at $2.5 million. And worldwide it's at 5.6. What is the production budget for this little film right here that I did not like? You can still go check out my review, even though I said I didn't like it. But let me just try to check this out real quick, guys. Thank you. The Dead Don't Die is a film that I really just did not care for. So that closes in the top 10 and the top 5 for this box office weekend Flop City edition. Now, let's look at this. Let's have some fun here. Now, if we look at the top 10, the top movies for 2019, Avengers Endgame is all the way up there. Captain Marvel number 2. This is domestic, by the way, guys. Aladdin is right there at number 3. Us is still hanging in there 3 months later. We'll see how this list looks in July. But that is your top 2019 films domestically. If we want to look at the films for worldwide 2019, of course, Avengers Endgame is up there, $2,742 million. Captain Marvel number 2, Aladdin number 3, The Wandering Earth. It's on Netflix right now. $699 million worldwide. I really enjoyed the film. Check out my review for that as well. But that is the 2019 worldwide gross. So for now, let's look at all-time domestic. Right now, Star Wars is still up there at number 1. Star Wars: The Force Awakens at 936. Avengers Endgame is at 830. It's not going to make $106 million domestically. So Star Wars still has that crown. So congratulations, Star Wars: Force Awakens. Congratulations, Avengers being number 2. But let's look at the adjusted for inflation domestic. Something that really does excite me. Avengers Endgame is at number 17. Now, The Return of the Jedi is at number 16, as you see, at 347. So this has about $17 million to go. It may catch that with the bump from Spider-Man Far From Home. If Spider-Man Far From Home was not coming out, now it could be close, but I'm confident that it will surpass The Return of the Jedi and be number 16. However, adjusted for inflation, it is not going to catch Avatar at 876. So Avatar sold more tickets. Now, what does adjusted for inflation mean? It means that if in all of time, that movie ticket prices are the same price that they are today. So Gone with the Wind at number 1 came out in 1939. Of course, movie ticket prices were much, much cheaper back then. But if movie ticket prices were the price that they are today, back when Gone with the Wind came out, domestically, Gone with the Wind would have made $1.8 billion domestically. And so, so this is important to me. You know, this shows that more tickets were sold, but you know, times are changing all the time. Of course, times are changing. It always changes. Y'all know what I mean. You know, there's always a variable that we have to look at, or asterisk. But worldwide right now, Avatar is at 2.78, 2,788,000,000. Avengers Endgame is at 2,742,000,000. So it is really like $45 million away. I don't think it's not going to make it. It's not. I think that Avengers Endgame will probably make around $20 more million. So it's going to probably be around 2.76, something like that. But it is not going to catch Avatar, unfortunately. So, but it's not unfortunate. I mean, the thing is still a success or whatever. So there's really nothing. There's really nothing to complain about there. But guys, that is just my opinion. What did you think about these box office numbers? What did you think about my breakdown? Please let me know down in the comment section below. Let's get this conversation going and keep it flowing. If you like this video, go ahead and give me that thumbs up. If you don't, that's fine. Please subscribe to my channel. Also look me up on social media and consider subscribing. Like I said, guys, I would really appreciate it. But guys, thank you again for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.